everyone, this is Lisa Lee with
Kendra Lee.
And we are here today to discuss this week's news. It is Thursday, November 18th, and it is National Princess Day.
Yes, it is.
Kendra,
it's my day. I knew you were going to say that. It's my day.
Kendra has always been known as the princess. Right?
I'm not.
Have to. Oh, is that a family secret? Okay. So is that
so you're supposed to acknowledge your princess, and
here's my princess right here, my Jules. Hi, princess. Jules is my
dog.
Beautiful Pitty. She's my pit bull. She's so sweet. Yes, she is. So what are we doing for Princess Day, Kendra?
Not much, because I've been home all day by myself, really. So just admiring myself in the mirror.
With your crown?
No, it's because Princess Day is about having a good heart, that kind of thing. That's what they mean by the National Princess Day. Versus our princess is like, in our family, we mean it a little differently.
Kind of sarcastic, anyway.
The princesses come in all varieties.
Yes, they do. Have you seen that princess lady? She doesn't call herself a princess, but she's on TikTok, and she has like the lip balm, with Vaseline lip thing, and she's always wearing a crown.
Oh, yeah.
Pinky or something.
Yes, I love her. She's funny.
Is she not hilarious or what?
Yeah, she cracks me up. There was one last year, and she was in her car, and oh my gosh, she was getting so mad at somebody driving or parking badly. It was hysterical.
What's funny is she uses her accent, but she doesn't have the accent. She like purposely throws the accent in there.
Yeah, it's her mother. She started by imitating her mother, and her mom has an accent, so that's how it all kind of got started. It's cool because she's actually made some tours now, and goes around to different states and does a little show, being her little princess character. Really? It's cute. Yeah, so I was like, good for her.
She's funny. I love when she ridicules people. It's like, excuse me, like she duets people.
Oh, I know. And she shakes her head. She's like, I'm sorry, sir.
You're wrong. You're just wrong. That's not how it works. And then she does demonstrations too. It's like so funny. Oh my goodness. So it's not like a Princess Day, like Princess Diana princess. It's just like a do-good thing.
Right. That's how they're using it. So that's what the day is.
Well, happy Princess Day.
Do you know about any of the birthdays today of some famous people?
Actually, yeah. Owen Wilson is 52.
I like him. He cracks me up too.
Yeah, he's funny. Mike Epps is 50.
It's Big Papi's birthday. David Ortiz, the Red Sox.
He's 45. Kirk Hammett from Metallica is 58.
And then the journalist Megyn Kelly.
I don't know.
Happy birthday to all of them.
Yes, happy birthday. I have a question for you.
What?
How do you feel about this daylight savings time thing?
Okay, I don't.
I've been exhausted all week.
I don't really get tired, I guess, except for like the very first Monday after when you have to get up, go to work.
Right.
But that's usually more though for spring forward. When you spring forward, it's worse in my opinion. You lose that hour versus fall back. You get to gain the hour, but it's dark by like 4:58 here in California.
Yeah.
So it throws me off with what time is it? What do I have left to do in the day? Like that, I get like anxiety about it almost sometimes, or the opposite. So much time will go by because it's dark out, but it gets dark early. It's not that late. And I play that game so long. By the time I look at the clock, you're like, oh my God. It's late.
Right. Yeah.
So I just wish that we didn't do it. Just pick a time across the nation.
Yeah, I wish.
And that's it.
Just stay.
Depending upon where you live is what time of light it is. So I just wish that they'd pick a time across the board and we don't do it anymore.
I don't like it either. But I don't like it getting dark at 5 o'clock.
I don't think a lot of people do. I don't mind that part as much. I mean, it would be dark at 6. It's just the way that the season is too. So I think they should just pick a time.
Right.
And we stay at it. I mean, as it is, we're America, we have 5 different time zones. It's, a lot. And other places don't.
There's 2 states that don't change.
They don't do one of the changes, I believe, but they do the other or something. I forget how it goes.
One of them's Hawaii, and I think the other one Arizona?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would rather it just get get dark around 7 o'clock,
Well, you can't make the time change that. That's a seasonal issue.
No, because it does that with the weather, like the time of year too. Like once it starts getting colder, it gets darker earlier. That's just natural,
Right.
So I wish we would just stick with that. Stay on the springtime, Like when summer comes, it gets dark at 8 o'clock. Just stay that way and don't change it.
Well, whichever one, as Americans, we all pretty much tend to prefer, that will be the one that they won't choose for us to stick with.
You're probably right. Okay, so what's in the news today?
No, do you like the McRib?
No.
I don't either. I don't know. But
there's always a McRib is back thing.
Right. It's one of those every year or twice a year, maybe. I'm not really sure. Yeah. It comes out. Everybody goes bonkers for it. Well, Burger King is going to do a similar thing with a sandwich that was hugely popular for them that they pulled off the menu. I don't know why they did, but they did. And they're going to be bringing it back temporarily and giving it a try. Do you know what that sandwich might be?
No.
The Italian original chicken sandwich.
The Italian original?
Yeah, it debuted in 1979. And it hasn't been around for about 6 years.
I love the original chicken sandwich from Burger King.
It was called the Italian, so that's what they're going to be trying out now. Maybe it come as popular as the McRib. We'll see.
Well, I'll have to try that out. I go to Burger King for the onion rings.
I have a Burger King just down the street from my house. Did you know Florida is the center of the HIV epicenter and the opioid crisis?
I didn't know anything about the HIV. The opioid, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, it explains a lot.
I don't know about the HIV. I thought New York and San Francisco were the 2 main HIV places.
No, Florida's taken the center stage now. That's a new tidbit.
I have another question for you. When do you start decorating for Christmas? Like put up your tree? So I was driving around tonight and there's already Christmas lights up.
Yeah, like now I already have some stuff. I'm starting.
You already have some stuff up?
Yeah. And so we start right around now, and then we can kind of go slow because I like to have it all done by Thanksgiving. We used to do it the day after Thanksgiving, like Black Friday. Right. But then we started to do the Black Friday shopping. So then that didn't work. We had to do the holiday decorating before. So now it's just like my kids did my mom's house. They do her lights. And takes like a day.
So you said the tree is the last thing you do?
The tree is the last thing that we do. Yeah, I don't. Because I hate it.
You hate the tree?
Yeah, it's just all the sheer amount of ornaments we have, and I always have to say we don't put them all up because there's too much and it makes the tree too crowded, and yet we can't part with them for whatever reason. So there's a lot of that, and then the glitter gets all over everything, and then we have to assemble the tree, and we have to go and get the tree out of the storage. Like, it's a whole production, and then everybody craps out halfway through it. So then finally a couple years ago got a brand new tree that the lights were attached. It had a remote. It was great. And then we somehow, because it was being stored at my mom's temporarily, the cord fell out of the box. Nobody knows how. The cord was never able to be found after a year of looking for it. And so the consensus was we have to get rid of the tree.
Why did you get a new cord?
Well, because it was a very specific cord with prongs the way it fit. And you had to go to the manufacturer, and I did. And the first year they said it would take 6 to 8 weeks because of the corona. So I was like, well, that's past Christmas, so never mind. Right. And then the following year, I was on it early and they said they no longer made that extension cord.
Oh.
So now I'm trying to find through like a light manufacturer or something like that. And I spent a couple weeks searching, and for like $50, and then to ship it another like $10. And I was just like, you know what? I'm sorry. I got this tree on a Black Friday sale for $80. And now the damn cord is going to be just almost as much. I mean, it was a good tree. It was like a $300 tree I got on a Black Friday sale. I'm not interested in spending it. So now we're treeless because we donated it. My mom moved in the meantime. She was like, oh, well, here's a bag. I found a bunch of your stuff randomly, whatever. And I opened the bag, and there's the damn cord.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
I wrapped it up. I put it down at the dinner table when I'd set the table, and everybody came down. Everybody looks at the table and goes, where was it? Like, they instantly saw it. Like, this has caused our family so much upset the last 2 to 3 years. And I just smiled and said, Nani apparently had found it. I don't know. It appeared back in our bag of things.
Oh my God.
So this year, as far as putting up the tree, which was how you asked and started it, I'm like, ugh. We don't even have a tree, and I have to figure out a new one now.
I've had the same tree for quite a few years now. My whole family has always put the tree up on Thanksgiving night. After dinner, everybody would be like stuffed and chill out, and then all of a sudden it'd be like 9 o'clock or something, and down come the boxes. She'd put the tree up. My father would unstring all the lights because they'd all be wrapped up, and he'd get them untangled and everything. And then my mom would put the lights on the tree. We'd put all the ornaments on, and we'd go to bed. And we'd wake up. I remember getting up late, later that night. It'd still be dark out. And I remember you just going into the living room, and the whole thing's all lit up with the garland and everything. She'd always put the garland on after we went to bed.
Yeah, I always remember that we always had a real tree, and we'd go to New York and everybody had fake trees.
My mom didn't like the mess. All the needles all over the place. She couldn't stand it. So, and plus she always put it up early, and she didn't want, like, the tree would sometimes not make it to Christmas. It was just easier to have a nice tree. It always looked right, you know. So we've been doing that forever for Thanksgiving night. And then, like, whenever, obviously it was a Thursday, so that weekend, like, all the outside lights would go up. My dad would do the outside lights and stuff. What I just followed tradition with, you know, like Thanksgiving night, and then that weekend we put it, you know, everything else.
Now, when do you take it all down?
New Year's Day.
I'm the day after Christmas.
Really?
Oh, I'm so done with it, sick of it. Get it out, pack it up, let's go. It's all got to come down.
Oh no, I couldn't handle New Year's without a Christmas tree.
Oh no, that upsets me even more because it's a new year. So the previous year is said and done, and we did Christmas that year. It's over. So it shouldn't be there for the start of the fresh new year.
Well, that's why it comes down New Year's Day.
Now we know how Floridians do their Christmas decorating.
I always found it weird when I lived in California and in Florida. I'm used to it now, but I remember the first time when I lived in Los Angeles, I was 19, and we were going back to New York for the holidays, and we were still, like, the beginning of December, we were still out in Los Angeles, and they would set up, like, all the Christmas, I'm starting to lose my voice. They would set up all the Christmas decorations, like, right on Hollywood Boulevard, and the fake snow that they would put out and stuff. And I'm like, Christmas with palm trees? What?
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was the weirdest thing ever because, you know, in New York, there's no leaves on any trees.
It's like barren. Yeah. It's gray looking.
Yeah, it's grayish looking. Hopefully, there's a little snow on the ground. You know, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Leading up to Christmas Day, sometimes there is Christmas Day. It was just so weird to me. You know, then when I moved to Florida, I kind of got used to it, but it's nice to be able to go outside. But I have to say, it is really cold right now. Like, super cold.
Now, did you fly back or fly or drive back?
For the holidays? When I was in Los Angeles?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the first year I was there. We flew back.
Do you remember what gas used to cost back then? California is the largest state by population.
Right.
And we have the highest gas prices in the country. Our gas average here right now this is just the average, $4.65. So some places like where I live, it's even more money. Because for me right now, it's $5.01.
Whoa.
Yeah, and NorCal's more expensive than SoCal. So it's about an easy $90 just to fill the tank.
Gas here is $324 today? It was $330 the other day, but it's $324. And that's the highest I've seen it. I don't remember.
See, to us, that's our normal price of gas. That's great. That's
usually like $1 less.
That's dream prices. $3. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's up a total $1. It was like, it was down right before the new presidency. It was like $2. It got to $2 a gallon. And
see, ours hasn't changed much at all, and it just has been around the high marks for a while, but they warned us it's going to go up to about $7.
That's insane. This is crazy. I don't understand how that can happen after everything that just happened the past almost 2 years now.
I don't understand how so much can be different throughout the states as far as gas goes.
Well, it's always like driving to California. I've driven to and from California 4 times. When you're like outside of New York and outside of like, now this is coming from New York to Los Angeles. When you're driving to and from, once you get like past out of Pennsylvania and Ohio, and you get out of like the kind of like the tri-state area, all the prices go down like severely. Sometimes when you get to like a major city, it'll go up, but pretty much across the board, Indiana, Illinois, in certain places, it was like, well, see, it was cheaper then, so I can't even tell you the numbers. But it's significantly lower. And then once you get to like Arizona, that's when it starts going up. And then California was just crazy. But when I lived in Los Angeles, it wasn't that crazy. It was similar to New York.
No, that's what I say. NorCal is worse than SoCal. And people wouldn't think that with LA, Hollywood, Beverly Hills. Everybody would think it'd be more money. It's not. We are the highest. I don't know why.
It's just really sad that the price is going up for everything after what we all been through, because there's not anybody here that has not been affected by this.
Except for the people that live out in outer space on the space station.
Okay, you're absolutely correct. I stand corrected. How many of them are there? 5, 4 at the most?
I think 7 or so. But did you hear what happened to them the other day?
No, what happened?
So Russia decided to take out one of their satellites by blowing it up, which is something that like we have done, and it's a coordinated thing in order to remove a satellite. So, okay, fine. But they didn't coordinate it right and with anybody, and basically they left a bad debris field. So as the space station is circling around, it's trapped in this debris field, and it's not, they can't just steer out of it. So they actually were in a lot of danger, and they needed to put on their astronaut suits and suit up, and they had to go into the special pod because they had high potential to be annihilated, really. They are stuck dealing with this now. So I guess, different people in NASA and what have you, they called up the folks in Russia, and they called them up and had an intense argument about it, saying, they were very careless in what they did. And so they say that the debris field can be in the orbit for years. So,
wow.
Yeah, it may be the end of our space station time.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know anything about that. Okay, as far as updates go, we have some updates. Not much. Alec Baldwin situation. His brother, Daniel Baldwin, is standing up for Alec and saying that he was basically left to hang. Like everybody's leaving him to hang and take the brunt of this because he's the one that actually shot the gun.
Well, yeah, that's why they're doing it. It makes sense.
Yes, but you have to know it wasn't. He did not intend to shoot anybody.
No, he didn't, but you have to think that's what's going to end up happening.
He's stating and making it public that he thinks that his brother is getting the blank end of the stick. It's not fair. And quite frankly, it's not. It's really not. But I know that they're trying to make changes and stuff now. There's a filmmaker leading a Brooklyn demonstration for Helena's Law, which is a motion to ban real guns from film set. Let me ask you a question, because I'm not really even familiar with guns on film sets. So are they all real guns that just shoot blanks? Why aren't they using like fake guns?
Yeah, they do.
Like, can't they use guns that look identical?
The reason why they would sometimes use the real gun is because of getting some close-up shots.
So why are they even having to do that?
Well, that's the whole thing now. They are able to, with the technology, not have to do it that way anymore. It just was one of those things that it stayed that way because it was how it had to originally be. It could change. I mean, we all don't understand why not. Nothing has happened to, I guess, have to make it be the change until now.
Okay, let's talk about concerts. There was a concert here this weekend called Rockville. And it was at Daytona Speedway, which is like 2 minutes from my house. And I mean, I can literally hear the bass from the concert here.
Jeez.
Yeah, through the window. Yeah, it was so loud. There was a COVID scare there. Stone Temple Pilots was supposed to play, and one of their crew members got COVID. So they canceled and they didn't show up. Other than that, the show went fine. Metallica, Slipknot, Chevelle, Disturbed, Stained, Lamb of God, Lynyrd Skynyrd, and Mudvayne were part of the roster between 4 days actually. But like when they talked to people and they interviewed people who were attending the event about this COVID scare, they were like, okay, whatever, like no big deal. Like nobody was scared about it at all. People were disappointed that Stone Temple Pilots weren't going to be there because some people like flew here to see them and stuff like that. Yeah, but there was no like repercussions from like the Travis concert to this. I mean, it's totally different music, but like the crowd was just different. And that's what I was going to say about the Travis update is I saw on TikTok one of the EMTs who were there and he was talking about saving like 4 different people and running from one person to the other. What his complaint was, it was the crowd. It was the people that are attending these shows, the types of people that are going and not caring and rushing the stage and trying to get as close. I mean, they were breaking down barriers just to get in.
Right. And that was part of why they're mad at Travis, because he helps perpetuate it. And if it's already an issue to begin with, you don't need to be adding to it.
How is he helping perpetrate them breaking the barriers to get into the venue? He wasn't even
because
on stage
he's
yet.
known for telling them to do that throughout the whole show and to take over and stuff like that. So that's where it stems from. And then throughout shows, that's what he tends to want to do. So that's why I think they're
still haven't
holding.
proved that that's what he did at that show.
No, there hasn't been much talk about it at all, really. People like to protest a lot these days.
Yeah.
And there had been protesters out at like the laundry residence in Florida for Brian Laundrie and that whole thing for the longest time.
Right.
Well, those protesters, I guess, are now professional protesters. They moved on to Travis's house, and there was large protests going on outside of his home. Nope.
Same protesters that were the Brian Laundrie case are outside of Travis Scott's house.
They did make an appearance. Yes, they did.
That is, And
I'm just like, wow. I mean, other people obviously were there as well, protesting even before they got there. I just thought it was, wow, I didn't know one could become a professional protester.
Look, I understand standing up for what you believe in, but you have someone who murdered somebody. We don't know whether it was purposely or accidentally, but
I guess these protesters just see murder as murder and death as death, and that doesn't matter to them. I don't know, but I just thought it was a little funny that I'm like, wow, they really are getting around. Okay. I mean, people want to protest.
If you believe
they get the right,
but it's 2 totally different cases.
I'm surprised that there's not protests going on at Kyle Rittenhouse's home.
I'll be honest with you, I have not followed that case, so I can't really comment on it, except to say that I see a lot of people sticking up for him.
Right. Well, he's 18 now, but he was 17 at the time of the incident. Mm-hmm. And he was charged with 5 felonies, 1st-degree intentional homicide, 1st-degree reckless homicide, and then 2 counts of endangering safety, and then there's even a few more lesser offenses. I don't know them all. He essentially killed 2 people and seriously injured a 3rd through shooting them with a gun.
Isn't this self-defense?
Well, that's what the whole court case is about, because he felt his life was in danger. And so the whole thing, I guess, is, was it really or not? So then there had to be a lot of backstory to well, how did a 17-year-old acquire a gun?
That's what my next question was.
Right. And why were you at a protest when nobody under 18 should have been at said protest? And why were you pretending to be an EMT when you're not? And So there was a lot of other things that went into it. They finished the court case. The jury's trying to decide what's going on with that. I always have an issue where
17, is he even allowed to own a gun? What state is he in?
No,
he's not. Follow this case at all.
Nobody's allowed to own a gun at that age. But
I didn't think so.
Something that came out the other day was that picking of the jury, which is always like supposed to be the biggest part, a woman is apparently worked with the defense team to help build a profile for the right juror in the case. And she's known as the best on the planet for what she does.
Right.
She is known for working on other cases, the biggest one being the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh.
That's why I said, I'm just surprised there's not protesters in some fashion for some point of that whole case because,
right.
But maybe there will be. I don't know. I've only watched a little bit of it. It's hard to watch. There's people that died and we weren't there and we don't know what they were all really doing at each other. And
right.
So it's just sort of sad. Not really sure where they're going to end up with those cases. We may be coming back into a time of protesting soon here.
It's really sad, man, that people are dying.
One person that I don't really care about whether they're dying or not is Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
She's been in jailhouse garb for a year and a half now, and she's actually allowed to wear civilian clothes for the first time since her arrest in 2020.
Oh, good for her.
They usually keep her in paper clothing.
I hope she squeals on everybody. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I do too. And it's not just because we want to know. It's just, come on already. What good does it do? You're going to take the heat for all these people?
Right.
Come on.
Why go down alone? You know what I mean? Like, don't let these people get away with it.
Right. I mean,
she's obviously going to spend the rest of her life in jail. She's not getting off.
Right. So she was, being accused for stuff over a 10-year, time period there.
Yeah. And there's proof of all of it. So, she's not getting away with it.
Right. Her and her buddy Epstein over there, who is no longer on the planet. I just don't know. What did she have to lose? And in fact, she probably would have stuff to gain. I'm sure there's bribes out there. Tell us and we'll let you get off of some charges or just whatever, I'm sure there's that going on. You won't
spend the rest of your life in jail. You'll spend 20 years in jail,
Right. We'll do home monitoring or something.
Let me ask you this. If she ratted everybody out and it was proof and like some serious people went down for it, would you be willing to accept the fact that they let her go?
Let her go?
Immunity for ratting everybody out.
Maybe, yeah.
I think
if it was a guaranteed weak proof thing, though, not on the word or because
right.
There was proof.
Guaranteed and proof, yeah.
Because those are the people that, although she did wrong, those were the people that did the act.
Right.
So they need to be punished. So
yes, and not only
if U.S. Marshals or government officials or whomever is giving her the option to be more free, that's on them.
Whoever was involved in all this, however many people they are, apparently they're very high up. They're elite people. Obviously, that's where the secrecy is all at. And
honestly, they're all probably getting old, and they're a bunch of dirty old men that are close to the end of their time as it is, and everybody wants to keep it secret and let it be. And
I think there's a lot of well-known people in there with family histories and things like that they can't let things like that get out. We don't know. We have no idea, but it's definitely there's a genuine black book. I don't think she should go down without revealing it.
No, I don't either. I would like for her to definitely reveal something. But honestly, the names that have come out a little bit, a lot of them, I'm like, who is that? Who is that? Like, they're not in our daily,
Yeah, but
world.
They got Prince Andrew in there.
Right. And that's the one they seem to have the most info about to prove that he did it.
Right. And then they got Bill Clinton. They got Hillary Clinton.
Why his wife tried to kill him that time. I'm like, maybe that's why.
I don't know, but I think she should let the cat out of the bag. Because if she speaks up and admits it, it vindicates the women who were involved in this. You know what I mean? Because they're having a fight to prove that they're right.
But not a lot of people are really, unfortunately, I guess is the best way to put it, care about the girls that were doing it.
Well, because
they somewhat on their own willingly participated to an extent in some of this.
But they were young. And we're talking also about girls that are a lot younger that have not come out. And we're talking about a lot of other stuff that's involved in this too, that we don't even know. I think
as the public, is more to the, if you're grabbed and clutched from the, out of the window of your home and taken and forced, and then there's more sympathy. The whole willingly cut school and went and did it thing is people go, yeah, whatever, and they move on.
But the question is how young are these girls? We're talking about, like, this right now, this case is about, like, the young girls, like maybe the teenagers who may have been 14, 15, 16, 17. You're still too young. You know what I mean? But 17, 18, you kind of know what you're doing, but don't know what you're doing. But you're already in that world that they put them in. So it's like, you can't blame them. You know? I
don't think anybody's blaming, but I don't think that they really feel that much for them. I think that people are more apt to have feelings towards upset at whoever the men were that were there doing it than the women who were providing the service, I guess we say. And
what about the other stuff? It's not.
I don't think people are that. I don't think they have that much attachment to care or emotion around it to care that much, honestly.
Well, when I say other stuff, do you know what I'm talking about? Because there's more than just these, teenagers having sex with, all of Epstein's friends on planes.
Well, they were not.
There's more that supposedly went on that island.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot more.
Yeah. I'm talking about the children that have been there. Little children, young children, 10 and under, that have supposedly been there, supposedly have gone missing, supposedly, there's a lot of supposedlys there. Now, that could be one big giant rabbit hole.
And again, I don't think people really care because nothing really concrete to prove if that was real or not has been able to happen. So people can't get all up in arms over what is, make-believe at this point for them.
Well, to be honest, and I probably said to be honest, God knows how many times already, but I think that if she squealed on that part of it, that, I think, is a major issue. I think that's what needs to come out more so than the others. But if she tells, she needs to tell all.
Right, and that may not even be real and true. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know.
Always drama.
But I did watch a lot of TV this week, and I watched Loki.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and that looks fun. I haven't watched all of it, but I've watched some of it. Continue watching that. I guess that's it for today's news. This week's news. We tend to do our news on Thursdays, and next week is Thanksgiving. So are we going to do like a Thanksgiving news?
Sure,
why not? What are you doing Thanksgiving Eve? It's the biggest night of the year. I know what I'm doing.
What?
I'm going to be watching Get Swamped. They're going live on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I'll be watching Get Swamped. Absolutely. Probably go live around 7:00 Eastern time. So,
well, then everybody should check that out.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Adios.
See you then. Oh, adios, amigo.
Exactly.
Okay. Take care. Have a great week.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.